Hey, welcome to a Thursday. Pretty nice day out there. Last few days have been nice. Temperatures have trended in the mid and low 80s. A little cooler yesterday, a little cooler today. And then temperatures kind of drop off this weekend. So it's not going to be a mid 80s weekend in the hot spots. It's going to be an upper 70s weekend. Most of us will be mid 60s to low to mid 70s. It's going to be a nice weekend. It's just not going to be as warm as you might like. Coastal areas are getting a break, though. That fog is having a tough time reforming. We'll get to the weather. We'll talk about this guy. I've worked with a ton of legends at KTVU, from Bob March to Bob Wilkins to Dennis Richmond to, Bob McKenzie. Oh, my gosh. Vern Hawkins. Yeah, Bob Shaw. All the just amazing icons, Bay Area icons. And this guy, more than anybody. I mean, I watched him from my grandma's house in Palo Alto when I was 6 years old doing dialing for dollars. This is Pat McCormick. He kind of did it all, and you kind of see he's a puppet dude. He's doing dialing for dollars. He's an announcer. He did the weather at KTVU. As a matter of fact, when I first came to KTVU, he was the guy that was doing the weather at the time. Some great Pat McCormick stories. They're good ones, man. Some of the studio hands have awesome stories because Pat McCormick was like one of those old school broadcast legend, just kind of like old, like Hollywood. Like he was an entertainer. And I said this once before, but in our business, they still go, cue talent or have talent sit over. Talent is us. Like guys who read the news are talent. It's not talent, but in the old days, these guys were talent. Like Bob was a ventriloquist, probably could sing and dance, right? That was just how it is. And so that whole genre, like creative types, artists, talent, were gravitated towards television. And Pat McCormick is one of those guys. And in the Bay Area, he was truthfully, Whoopi Goldberg, at the height of her Whoopi Goldbergness, saw him at an event one time, and Dennis was there, and all the famous people at Channel 2, and she was world famous at that point. She'd had a pretty stellar career, probably in the 90s, and she was so excited to meet Pat McCormick. And so the story goes, there's so many, Grace Slick, all these people, when they see Robin Williams, when they see Pat McCormick, they would just go nuts. Because they knew him from their childhood, and he was a part of the Bay Area. Channel 2's got a long history, right? From Dennis, like I said, we go all the way back to, when the station opened up, and Pat was we did roller derby and we did big time wrestling in the studio, in our old studios. But Pat was a weatherman. And he was a nut. I don't say meteorologist because this dude was not a meteorologist, but he was a weatherman, and he did the right thing. He didn't know shit about weather, but he knew a lot about television. So he was good. Like he would go out, he would look out the window, and he'd go, I just looked out the window and I know the National Weather Service said it's going to be this, but I think it's going to be that. People loved him as not a meteorologist, but as a weatherman. And I did too. I worked with him pretty close for a while when probably the first year and a half I was here, because I was doing weekends. He was doing weekdays, and he was just a sweet man. And one of the things he told, I know he wasn't a sweet man. He's a tough guy. He's kind of a World War II merchant Marine, tough guy, tattoos before tattoos were cool, like Cher. I mean, he had tattoos back in the early 50s. So there's what he does. That's his thing. That the horse was Charlie horse. Pretty sure. God, you guys are gonna give me a hard time on this one, but I think the dog is Humphrey Hambone. I think, and that's Pat in the younger days. And one of the stories that goes along with Pat in the old days was when the guys would go to film the show, the Pat McCormick and Humphrey and Charlie. Oh, Charlie was the horse. Charlie horse. I can't remember the dog's name. Anyway, he would have the puppets on, and there was a rule, and it was a no joking rule. When you come in here, do not talk to me, talk to the puppets. So these guys would be shooting, I don't know how long, for maybe an hour to get this program put together, right? Taped it. And the crew would be like, oh my God, this dude's nutty, man. We got to talk to the, it's like a Seinfeld episode or something. But that was Pat. I mean, he would just get in character. He did that he went 100% every time he went 100%. There's Humphrey Hambone, the horse, and that's Charlie Horse. Maybe that's, I don't know. I should know this. But anyway, Pat was an interesting guy. One of the things he told me when I was young, I think I told some friends this the other day at an old Channel 50 reunion. I said, he told me once, because I was working at a little TV station, Channel 50, and he said, you'll never have more fun in your entire life than working at a teeny weeny TV station. And he was right. I mean, I love Channel 2. I've been there 33 years, something like that. And it's super, but it's more money driven. And so it's not fun. It's, you're doing a job. Whereas a teeny TV stations, it's like being in it's like being in a high school production or something. It's really fun. I'm not dissing it. It's really fun. Like it never gets any funner actually in television. So that's my story about Pat McCormick. Love him. He and I really got along pretty well, quite frankly. He didn't get along with everybody super well because he was a character. He was just a character. And last I heard, he's still around, I believe, and he's living up on the North Coast somewhere up out of California, I think into Oregon. A lot on Pat McCormick. Here we are, clear along the coast. Beautiful day. Cooler air mass trying to settle in. Let's see if I can get that back, and then I'm going to push on here. And there's another shot. This other visible satellite image shows a little fog down in Santa Cruz, right? A little bit down here. Little bit. It'll be back, but it's having a tough time forming. Look at the inversion. What you look at is, you can see my cursor, the inversion is about 2,000 feet to almost 3,000 feet deep. So it's basically almost non-existent. That whole layer is just cool air, and that's why temperatures are trending down. As we look at the long-range model, I want to put this box over us because this is sort of the story of the weekend, because as we get closer to the weekend, that I know you can't really make out the lines and whatever, but just watch the general flow. Let's see if I can do this. So to the north of us, see that system creeping down right there. That there is going to be the mechanism that keeps us on the cool side. So if you see that blue, it's onshore wind still. It's not a strong storm, but it keeps us cool. And the pattern is such, you see that spinner to the north, these lows are pretty close. And because of that, it's just simplified, but because of that, temperatures stay pretty mild. We will warm a little bit next week. And look at this for next weekend. Look at that system right there. That's an interesting one, right? So we'll see. So it's a very active pattern, and it's not real summer-like yet. Out at Ocean Beach, you see the sun is out. It is beautiful, a beautiful day out there, and breezy. I saw kite surfers out there last night, and because of the winds, and you may see some fog right there off the coast. So it's a pretty nice day at the beach. And the way we're going to play it is cooler Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday it warms up a little bit. But this pattern, I mean, are we going to see 90s anytime soon? Doesn't seem like it. So there you go. That's all you need to know about Pat. He's awesome. Google him sometime you know who he is. What am I saying? And I'll see you back here tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe Saturday.